The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Teflon Pan Man. I'm the Teflon Pan Man. Ain't nothing gonna stick on me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to All You Can Eat. It's the podcast about deliciousness. I'm your host, Rob Rosenthal, coming to you on this April day. April. I got the little showers today, and so anyway, that's okay. I'm coming to you from New York City, New York. For episode number 107 of All You Can Eat. And it's one of those episodes where I do recommendations. Those of you who know me know that I have experience in traveling. I have experience in cooking and cookbook writing. And oftentimes I am sent products, whether they be foods or sometimes beverages, sometimes equipment, sometimes whatever. And I like to use the opportunity periodically to tell you what I really like. And I guess I can tell you the things I don't like, but I think it's much more positive if I tell you what it is that I like. And things that I think that you might find useful in your cooking, in your eating, in your... Well, in your deliciousness. That's really what it comes down to. So on today's program, I have a couple of pieces of equipment to tell you about. And on today's program, I have 3 or 4 foods to tell you about. And even a book to tell you about. And let's see, how many recipes? A couple of recipes to tell you about. All delicious, all recommended by me. Your chief recommendation officer, Rob Rosenthal, here on All You Can Eat. Let's start off with some equipment. Now, I am, my general feeling about equipment is that we often have, especially in the kitchen. I mean, specifically in the kitchen, we often have too much of it. Sometimes we don't have enough room to have all the equipment that we have, and more often I discover that we have equipment that we never use. And so, while I wouldn't call myself anti-equipment, I just want to be minimal about it. Now, there are certain things that you always have to have in your kitchen, and that includes, really good knives and maybe a nice cutting board and a couple of decent, pots and pans. And I think the instant read thermometer is always important to have. Good tongs, spatula. I like scissors. I've always liked a good pair of kitchen shears, which I use for anything from cutting up a whole chicken to... cutting some little pieces off spice, off cilantro, oregano, rosemary, whatever it is. Today, in equipment, I'm going to tell you about 2 pieces that I like. One is from the company that is Viking. Now, you may be familiar with that company because you know that Viking makes the ranges, the ovens, and all that kind of stuff. Now, they sent me a terrific piece. Which is a 3-in-1 piece. 3-in-1 because it is both a flat pan, heavy duty roasting pan that you could put on top of the oven or inside the oven. And then they also sent me the it comes with a 8.5 quart casserole that you can use to braise things in, and then it comes with a glass lid. So this thing can be used on top of the oven. It can be used inside the oven. It's heavy duty. It's multi-purpose. It's non-stick. It can be put in your dishwasher. And, the pan itself has what do you call ridges, so that it's good for grilling. You can grill, whatever, steak, pork chop, shrimp, chicken, all that kind of stuff. And then you can use the casserole part of it, to braise an entire, whatever you braise. It could be a chicken, it could be brisket, whatever. So this is really a good, heavy-duty, solid, multi-purpose, strong and even, for those people that cook induction, you can use it on that as well. Very good piece of equipment from Viking. The 8.6 quart die-cast oval roaster with a glass basting lid. I like that a lot. Thank you, Viking. A lot of ways to use that. Very good. Here's another something for you. Another product in the kitchen which, okay, look, this one, it doesn't take up a ton of space, but if you're the kind of person that cooks, then you probably understand how important spices are. I can tell you that I understand spices very well for two reasons, one of which is because I just gave my third or fourth class on the subject of spices from around the world. And the reason I'm big on the spices is because there is nothing in the world that is a more efficient, simple, and flavorful way to really completely change and make more outstanding and delicious your food than by adding a spice to it. Now remember, I'm the guy that brought you the book, A Short Order Dad, based on the premise of getting the most taste with the fewest ingredients and the least effort. One of the ways that you can do that is you can take the simplest food and add a spice to it or a spice blend to it, and that's 2 ingredients, but I can get you a ton of flavor with that, especially if that spice is a blend of spices. And I'll give you a specific example. I want you to take, for example, my favorite, which is the berbere, which is an Ethiopian spice blend. If I shake berbere on a chicken wing or a chicken thigh and roast it in the oven, that's 2 ingredients, and it's going to be magnificent. And I say 2 ingredients, but in that spice blend, there's got to be 12 different spices. So I'm bringing 12 flavors with 1 shake of a bottle. The point that I would make here, though, about spice blends, and this is a truth, is that you get the most out of spices when they're fresh, and you get the most out of spices when you blend them yourself. In other words, if I buy whole black peppers or whole coriander seeds or cumin seeds or whatever it is, if I blend them, then you can really, really get the intensity of the flavor of them. Now, that's a long way around. You can also make your own, not only blend your own single spices, but you can make your own blends. And one of the ways to do that is to have a mechanism for blending them. Now, you can't do them in a blender, you can't do them in the Cuisinart, but you can do them with a kitchen mill. And so I have in front of me the Finamill, Finamill, which is a smart kitchen mill invented for spice grinding. This is a terrific piece of equipment because what you have here is, and I'm holding on to it, you have a powerful motor, you have these pods that are easily changed with just one hand. You have reusable and reusable and refillable, of course. One-touch operation, and it allows you to grind dried whole spices, seeds, salts, and even most herbs. So you make your own spice combinations, and once you make your own spice combinations with these little interchangeable pods and the push of a button, you are now going to be able to bring magnificent fresh spice flavor to anything from chicken, steak, vegetable, potato, anything that it is that you make. So you want to get your hands on this one. It's the Smart Kitchen Mill. The company is Finamill, F-I-N-A. I guess they could say Finamill, but I don't know. Finamill. Get yourself a Smart Kitchen Mill. Blend your own spices. Bring beautiful flavor, color, texture, interest, deliciousness to your food. Now, those are the 2 pieces of equipment that I wanted to mention to you today. Then on top of that, there's some foods that I have been trying that I have also been enjoying. And one of them is a particular ham. This one is called a Bayonne ham, and I'm not talking about Bayonne, New Jersey, but I'm talking about Bayonne from a particular part of southwest France. And anytime I talk about food from France, you know it's a serious thing. The thing about ham is that no matter here's the thing about ham. You can get good ham in a lot of places. I mean, everybody thinks that their that their country produces the best ham. Right? You can get ham that's Danish ham. You can get ham here in America, Virginia ham. You can get Westphalian ham. You can go to Germany, and what do they have over there? Black Forest ham. You can go to Italy and have prosciutto from Parma, and this is fantastic ham. And you can go to Spain, where I have to say, that's some of the finest ham in the world that they have over there. The Buco, the black patat is some amazing ham coming out of Spain. And nobody's ever going to tell you anything that comes out of France is going to be second rate. So I have been having some dry cured ham. It's called Bayonne Ham. And it's fresh ham, it's salt, it's a few simple kind of ingredients that go in there, giving the ham a very distinctive kind of melting texture. It's delicate taste, it's rich. You can taste hazelnut in there. And why are you tasting hazelnut? Why? Because they feed the pigs hazelnuts. And what those pig eats ends up in, to some extent, ends up in the ham that you eat. So this is a beautiful flavor ham. It comes from a protected geographical origin. They've been doing this kind of thing for, I would say, centuries. Pigs that are bred with a particular kind of, they're exclusively bred for this reason. And then they dry cure the ham, and then you have some French salt that goes in there. And it's coming out from a place, the southwest of France is producing, just in general, beautiful food. So you may want to grab let's see if you want it, you may want to grab yourself some Bayonne ham. Now, how would you find it? If you are an Instagram person, for example, you would find them on Instagram. That's going to be the easiest possible way. And you go to Instagram and you go Bayonne _ham, BAYONNE _ham. And when you go to that, not only will you see this beautiful photos of their ham, but you will also be able to click right on the link that takes you to purchase their beautiful Jambon de Bayonne. So Bayonne, BAYONNE _ham. I suppose I could also give you their website, but it's a little more complicated. Here you go. Jambon, JAMBON _ oh no, not underscore, dash. JAMBON, Jambon, dash, DE, dash, Bayonne, 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 probably for them, .com. So that's how you would get your hands on some of this delicious French ham. Love that stuff. Next up, my friends, I've mentioned it before, but I happen to have two Asian products, and one is the Ghoshujang. Ghoshujang is Ghochujang. It is the Korean condiment. They use it in the same way we use ketchup over here. I think you know, well, you may not know. It's a combination of glutinous rice, which brings some sweetness to it, red pepper, and it comes in the form of a paste, and it is, let me see if I can actually be even more precise, and I may not be able to. No, it's fine. It is, I use it because I find it's a combination of sweet, and salty and spicy, and not too spicy. It's spicy, yes. You could use a bunch of it and it's spicy, but the sweetness offsets the spice a little bit. But because it's thick, because it's made from a fermented soy, and the glutinous rice, which has no gluten, it just has sweetness to it, and some malt and yeast and this kind of thing. Because it's thick, you kind of generally don't use it straight up. It needs to be liquefied a little bit. It needs to be blended a little bit so we can use it in a marinade. Or what I'll do is I'll add a teaspoon of it to, if I'm going to do a stir fry as an example, I may want in my stir fry from sesame oil. I may put in some soy sauce, and then I'm going to put in a teaspoon of this. So it needs a little bit of liquid to open it up and spread it around. Beautiful flavor. a beautiful taste. Love this stuff. The brand I happen to like is Mother-in-Law's Ghoshujang, and you can find that easily online. I happen to have this showed up today, coincidentally, a recipe in our very own New York Times, the Ghoshujang honey skirt steak. So one of the things you need to know about this is you want to do, when you have the skirt steak or you have the hanger steak, these are thin, they cook relatively quickly. But the idea here in this is to kind of give your steak a little marinade and then give it a quick grill. And this one, again, if you use this recipe, you're getting yourself some beautiful Korean steak done quickly. The only ingredients you need are a pound of skirt steak, a teaspoon of kosher salt, 3 tablespoons of the gochujang, 3 tablespoons of honey, so you can add a little extra sweetness, and 1 tablespoon of canola oil. All right, so this is my kind of thing. 5 ingredients max, and it cooks quickly, right? Skirt steak is thin. Exterior is going to give you a lot of flavor. Ghoshujang, your Korean fermented chili paste blended with honey, makes it an ideal glaze, so you're getting sweet, spicy, and umami in 2 ingredients. Settles into the nooks and crannies of the meat and caramelizes once it hits the hot, hot heat. Right? So you take those 5 ingredients, your skirt, your kosher salt, your gochujang, your honey, and your canola. You blend the ingredients, you put it on the steak, and then that steak goes on to a super hot grill like the one from Viking that I told you about earlier. And you cook in 2 minutes on one side, 2 on the other. You're slicing it thin. I want that right now. That's how much I want that. Always be careful when you're cooking with anything that has sweetness in it, like sugar or honey or anything, because sweet burns more quickly. So get yourself some mother-in-law's gochujang. And by the way, on the subject of spices, which I'm going to come back to in a minute, the Koreans also make goshugaru, which is a dried red pepper that they use in everything, including when they make gochujang, the red pepper from Korea. Delicious. Heat, a little, flavor, a lot. I've also mentioned this before, but I'm going to come back to it again. There's a company called Bashans, Bachans. Bashans is a small family operation. They make a Japanese barbecue sauce. I love the heck out of this stuff. You can look it up, Bachans. Go order the Bashans. Why do I love it so much? Because it's a ton of flavor with a squeeze of a bottle. And what I like is, again, the kind of multi-purpose of it, by which I mean that you can use it as a glaze. Like if you didn't feel like, doing gochujang on your skirt steak, you could easily just hit up the skirt steak with Bashans, as you could with shrimp, as you could with chicken, as you could with vegetables. In fact, I also use it a lot if I'm doing any kind of stir fry. So you're going to stir fry up some vegetables, and maybe in that stir fry you have some garlic, maybe you have some scallion, right? Maybe you have some fresh ginger, and then you start putting in your favorite vegetables, whatever they may be. And then you may want to put in some bean sprouts, and then you may want to throw in some peas, and I don't know, whatever else you like, that you're going to, any vegetable that you want to kind of, stir fry up. I just hit it with a couple of tablespoons, couple of squirts of this Bashans barbecue sauce, this Japanese barbecue sauce, fantastic flavor. And here's the point. And then you finish that, right? Maybe you finish it with scallions. Maybe you hit it with some cilantro. Maybe you decide you want to put, your shrimp or chicken pieces right in there. What if you're making cauliflower rice, which has no flavor until you flavor it? So again, boom, one shot of this Bashans. And you know what? Suppose you want to go multicultural. I would take a little bit of Bashans and I would hit it up with some of the gochujang. And then you have this, more thickened sauce. But wow, that's a lot of flavor. That'll improve anything. Take any dish in the world. I might want that on chicken wings or chicken thighs. And you hit it up with your, Bashans, great. You hit it up with some Bashans and gochujang, even greater. And I was going to say, the other thing that I like about the Bashans is that whether you can use it as a glaze. Yes, you can put it into your stir fry. But here's the beauty of it. You can also use it after your food is cooked. So if you happen to go buy yourself a large, or not a large, any kind of dumplings, Korean dumplings, Chinese dumplings, Japanese dumplings, frozen dumplings. I get at Costco, they sell them they sell 50, dumplings or egg rolls. And they often come, these frozen dumplings especially, with some type of sauce. And that sauce generally comes in a plastic package. And it's frozen, and it's gooey, and it's repulsive, and I never use it. But here's the beauty, here's the point of my story. Anytime you make egg rolls, anytime you make dumplings, anytime you make anything that you want to, even teriyaki, shrimp, or tempura shrimp that you put in an air fryer, you don't need to use anything other than a shot of this Bashans BBQ sauce. And it's great, just adds great flavor. So it's a dipping sauce as well. Love that stuff. You may want to check out, my friends, I've been doing the classes on spices, so I've been referring people online to different places where you can get spices. You can certainly go to Amazon and get any spice you want. You can certainly go to, I like Penzeys, Penzeys, great company, great spices. You can go online, order, and they'll ship. But the hottest kind of, shop right now in online spices is called Burlap and Barrel. And so Burlap and Barrel, I'm pretty sure you can do it, burlapandbarrel.com. And you're going to find beautiful, they're single source, they're sustainable, they go around the world, they curate the most beautiful spices. They make their own blends. If you don't happen to have your own mill and you want to make a blend of spices, you can go certainly to Burlap and Barrel and pick up any one of 10, 20, 30 different beautiful, elegant, delicious spice blends, any of which is transformative in anything that you're cooking. I promised a book and a couple of recipes. The book is, I'm looking at it, hang on. The book is called Il Buco, I-L-B-U-C-O, Il Buco, Stories and Recipes. It is, it's more, stories and recipes is exactly what it is. You get a story and you get a recipe, which makes sense. Now look, this is a big and heavy book. I don't know what it costs, but it's, there's two kinds, when it comes to food, you generally see kind of cookbooks that are, you put them in the kitchen and they get dirty and you're using the recipes and turning the pages. And then you see these books that are not really meant as much for the kitchen, they're meant more for the coffee table. I like this book, Il Buco, because it is both. It is the hybrid. It's big enough and beautiful enough and the pictures are outstanding enough that this is the kind of book that you would put on the coffee table, honestly. And yet at the same time, I can't help but love grilled octopus with chickpeas, or seared tuna with fennel pollen, or any one of the other. And part of it is because I love the restaurant. So if you go downtown in New York, you can go to Il Buco or Il Buco Alimentari, and you're going to have just genuine, delicious Italian food, which now comes to you in the form of their book, Il Buco, Stories and Recipes. It's a heavy-duty book, so I'm not really seeing the price in it, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was in the, in the $35 range. I don't know, I'm just guessing on that, but it's a rich-looking book. Recipe. I told you about the skirt steak there with the Ghoshujang, and then there's one more. Because I found recently, and I suppose you could put this in a delicious recommendation column of food, some Feta cheese over at Costco that comes in a glass bottle, and there's some herbs in there like thyme and some peppers and a lot of olive oil, and this stuff is like crack. Holy wow! I mean, it's hard for me to get excited about Feta cheese. I like it. Oh, actually, no, I'll take it back. It was goat cheese. And again, it's hard for me to get excited about goat cheese, except in this case, this goat cheese is amazing because it's been stored in olive oil that has been flavored with herbs and some peppers, and it melts. It just melts in your mouth. Put it on a cracker, put it on bread, eat it straight up. It's delicious. But but I'm going to tell you now about now having done this whole thing on goat cheese, and it's really delicious. I caught a recipe today, and I caught it, I think, because I know that I also have very good feta cheese in my refrigerator right now. Greek feta cheese that has been stored in, in basically a water base to keep it fresh. And I come across a recipe that I share with you now, and it is a whipped feta dip. And again, not a ton of ingredients, so that's important to me, because if you know me, you know that I see more than 5-6 ingredients, my eyes start to glaze over. But, whenever you have friends over, I find that people kind of gather around, the kitchen, and I like happy hour, and I like having, whatever it is, whether it's going to be the cocktail or some wine, and you like having it with some things to nibble on. And my nibbles can be anything from, great, potato chips. I mean, I got some jalapeno kettle chips recently at Costco, which are addictive. I like a good nut. Maybe it's a pistachio or a cashew, whatever your favorite nut is. But you also need something to do with your, like a crudité or crackers. Anything, but you need like a dip. Now that dip can be a store-bought hummus, which you now know you can transform with some great, spices. Za'atar on top of that would be good, or any kind of your favorite dried, peppers, or just straight up hummus, whatever. And that's a good dip if you want to be super lazy. But if you want to make something and go, hey, look what I made. One of the things you may consider making is a whipped feta dip. And the key to this thing is that it's easy enough to do. And again, only a few ingredients. You're going to get 8 ounces of feta cheese. And you're going to get 3/4 of a cup of, which is like 6 ounces of Greek yogurt. And while you could get, low fat or no fat, trust me when I tell you, it's worth getting the full fat Greek yogurt. The only thing you have to do with Greek yogurt is make sure that it's plain, that it doesn't have other flavors in it. But you get yourself some, 6 ounces of Greek yogurt. You're going to get yourself a clove of garlic or 2. I would say 1 is enough that you're going to mince up. You're going to need a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. That'll help you make it smooth and emulsified and bring a touch of flavor to it. And then all you need is your salt and pepper to taste, right? So, and this is a food processor. So in the food processor bowl, you're going to put feta and yogurt and your garlic, and you're going to blend it, scrape down the sides, add your olive oil until everything is incorporated. And then, you can or not put that through a sieve to make it really kind of like super silky creamy. And then season it with salt and throw in some pepper if you want. Ladies and gentlemen, you have yourself a whipped feta dip, which is delicious, clean, and easy and homemade. These are the things that I wanted to tell you about today on Recommendation Day. Equipment from Viking, which is the multi-purpose oval roaster. I really like the unit. I like a lot, as I told you, about it, including that I can grill on it, I can use it to braise, I can put it it's non-stick, I can put it in the dishwasher, great. The Finamill spice blender. This is the kind of piece of equipment that is particularly relevant to home cooks who who understand and appreciate spices and how to use them, and easy enough here. And they make it real easy to blend your own and store it and all that kind of stuff. The Bayonne ham from France is delicious. I eat it straight up. You can put it on toast. You can put it in your eggs. You can do it any way that you would use ham. The Bayonne ham comes sliced already for you in individual slices. Super delicious ham from the southwest of France. The Ghoshujang, mother-in-law's, I like that. And the Ghoshujang, I told you all about this Korean spicy chili paste, lovely. Bashans, I will always be a fan, Bachans, because I want the Japanese barbecue sauce that I can use before I cook, while I cook, and after I cook. Burlap and Barrel, which you can go to online because you want to grab yourself some spices from all around the world. I've had a half a dozen of their spices, and they're just excellent. And side note, keep them fresh. I mean, spices are good, 6 months, they're good for a year. After that, they start to lose their little bit of their freshness, a little bit of their intensity. Not going to hurt you, but certainly not going to bring as much flavor. So you want spice fresh, and when you go to a burlap and barrel, that kind of thing, you know that they're sourcing it, blending it, and selling it to you fresh. So it's good for you for 6 months to a year. It's great. Whip yourself up some feta dip. Grill yourself up some steak with your Ghoshujang. And if you're looking for a gift to buy yourself, or your Mother's Day coming up, or anybody that's into food, I tell you, this Buco Stories and Recipes is fantastic. And it's a rich-looking book with rich-looking recipes. And here's something, by the way, I should not forget. If you're looking for a book that's a gift for anybody that likes to cook, or especially those that don't have a ton of experience, the book I wrote is kind of good for you as well. It is a Short Order Dad, One Guy's Guide to Making Food Fun and Hassle-Free. You can get that at Amazon, 100 recipes. Not more than one or two of them have more than, 6 ingredients, because, I don't like that. And I teach you all the fundamentals, not only about what to have in the kitchen, whether it be tools or stuff in the pantry, but how to roast, how to saute, how to sear, what you need to know about braising. So that book is good, Short Order Dad. My friends, if you need to find me, you can get me on Instagram, where I'm Real Rob Rosenthal. You want to get me on the Facebook or Twitter, find me at Short Order Dad. Week in, week out, you can find me right here on All You Can Eat. The show comes to you live on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. That's on Armed Radio. And every day after, which is generally Thursdays, these new episodes appear on iHeartRadio, on Spotify, and on Spreaker. Right, All You Can Eat, all over the place. Look up All You Can Eat, look up Rob Rosenthal, and you will find me. That is today's program, my good people. I am Rob Rosenthal. I come to you weekly. This was episode 107 of All You Can Eat. Remember, my friends, life is short, so never waste a meal.
I'm the Teflon Pan Man. I'm the Teflon Pan Man. Ain't nothing gonna stick on.